I'm Ellen Hublou, and I'm a graduate student here at South Dakota State University in the Health and Nutritional Sciences Department. I will be going over the 7th KidQuest lesson entitled Grains and Breakfast. In your leader's guide for the 7th lesson, it'll have, again, the lesson outline, activity outcomes, and materials for getting ready. It'll also have the activity supplement quick review, and when you print this off, you're going to want to make sure you include both sides of the worksheet. For this lesson, I want to draw attention to 2 slides in particular. The first slide I want to look at is slide 4. And this goes over the 3 parts of what makes a whole grain. So the bran, the endosperm, and the germ. You really want to emphasize this with the participants because this will help them with the activity, and these typically aren't terms that they've heard of, so you really want to emphasize what they are so you're not constantly having to answer the same question. The other slide I'd like to go over is the 6th slide, which is where you can find where whole grain is listed. Oftentimes, the participants will just look at the nutrition facts. They don't look down at the ingredient list, but that is where we'll find the whole grain. And for whole grain to be considered whole grain, it needs to be listed first or second in order to be considered whole grain. So once you get to the activity portion, again, it's a 2-sided worksheet. The back side doesn't take as long to complete as the first one. So what you're going to want to do is when there are about 5 minutes left, you're going to want to make sure that the participants are on the back side so they have time to get the entire lesson completed. And here on the top you can see this is where the bran, the endosperm, and the germ come into play. And you're also going to want to go over at the end the answers to this. So the front side, there are going to be 2 labels for the lesson. So is it a whole grain and breakfast choices. So for the top part, it's very simple. It's just, is it a whole grain? So the participants are going to write down the name of the product. So in this instance, it would be snack crackers, and they're going to find out if it's made with whole grains. So this one has enriched flour, which it would not be considered whole grain, so they would circle no. For the second product, they would write down alphabets, and it is, the first ingredient is whole grain oat flour. So they would circle that it is in fact a whole grain. For the breakfast choices, there will be 2 different options for the student. So for this one, we have a chewy granola bar and a package of Pop-Tarts. So for this, the students are going to answer the various questions and give it a score. So based on the 2, they will decide which is the better breakfast choice to choose. Once the activity is completed, if time allows, go through the worksheet and discuss if they were surprised at any products, if they had any concerns about the choices. And then if time allows, pick out a physical activity lesson beforehand and perform it then. And once that is complete, if you are providing the healthy homework, distribute it then.